The Herkimer Diamond Festival and Gem show is going on today, tomorrow, and Sunday. Ilion Days gets underway. Their village-wide garage sale is tomorrow. And I don't know if you know it, but the big event in Utica is in East Utica. It's the annual festival at Mount Carmel. And you know what you're going to get there.
The fried dough.
Fried dough, the pizza frite, the
pizza frite.
cannolis, and the pasties, and the list goes on and on. But it's a big weekend. The weather looks pretty nice for this weekend. The story out of, and Christine, I know we both made our way through family court, and in some cases spent a lot of time. That's probably Joe, Andrew. Many cases spent a lot of time in there, at least in my case, spent a lot of time there. So I do understand people's frustration, but the answer, and I don't know the whole story here, but they're saying that this barricaded situation in Rome had something to do with an order from a judge involving this man's child, according to reports.
Right, the barricade doesn't help his case any.
It does not. And, you know, I understand that I can totally understand the frustration. But you got, in these cases, boy, it can drive you mad. Family court can drive you crazy. But you've got to maintain control if your end goal is really to see your kids.
Absolutely. And again, we don't know the circumstances behind it, but it was several hours that he was allegedly barricaded inside the house. So
it ended safely, which is positive. But at the end of the day, I'm going to ask you, so here you are. You're a married man. You have a child. Life is grand. You're beginning a vacation. You're going to be traveling. Everything's good. No matter what happens in your life, I think both Christine and I will always tell you, work it out. Work it out. Because the last thing you want is the judge to work it out for you. Because and Christine, it's an independent person, which is a difficult job, a family court judge. But it's one man or woman that gets to make a decision on something incredibly personal and near and dear to your heart as your children. And that can be really rough.
Oh, it can be terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Christine and I, on another program, can just give you stories. It's rough.
Well, I appreciate the advice. If I could just mention...
Not that there are any issues by any means. We're just giving you advice in advance.
Right. You're saying don't ever let it get to that point.
If the wrinkles start to form on your forehead, and we're just going to say, hey, the wrinkles will be worse if you head into family court.
This particular situation in Rome, the individual who was barricaded apparently did not have a gun. He was threatening, I guess, himself and officers with a sharp object. He was taken for an evaluation last night to the hospital because he had cut himself. It
can destroy your life, family court, and it can be very, very difficult. So the best thing you could ever do is try to work it out. Even if you didn't work it out, you try to work it out in some sort of mediation or something.
Can I just mention one thing since you brought up little Carter? It continues to be the highlight of every single day, and unfortunately, he's battling a bit of a cold now. We can't tell if he's got more teeth coming in because when they teeth, as you guys know this, they get runny nose and cough and stuff. Yeah. So we can't tell if he's got a little bit of a cold. He doesn't have a fever. He does not have a fever, but just dealing with him coming through this little bit of an illness has kind of been painstaking because his hours of sleep are off. I have to tell you this, though. One of the things I enjoy so much, and part of it is because now I'm on this shift now where I'm in earlier in the morning. In the middle of the night, he'll wake up, as he always does, crying, and he wants another bottle or some attention. It's like the best thing that happens to me in the middle of the night because I go in, he's a little upset. I pick him up. He instantly puts his arm around my neck, puts his head on my shoulder, and he'll usually just go back to bed. And it is like 5 minutes of just serenity.
And an accomplishment.
I feel like I've comforted him.
You're the guy.
Now he's now he's going back to bed. But it's just to be frozen in time for those 5 minutes every night. It's just it's incredible.
And hang on to that feeling and remember that feeling because in about 14 years, you're not going to have the same feeling. Well, so hang on to that.
And by the way, when I go to hug my daughter and she's like, "Don't touch me like that,"
get away from me. You're embarrassing me.
Like, okay, you're treating me like I'm some sort of a pedophile or something. Will you stop saying that? I'm trying to hug you. You're my daughter.
You know, people have told me, once they become that age, that teenage age, that Right, they don't want to hug you. They don't want anything to do with you.
Yeah.
The other thing is, even when they're 5 and 6, people are telling me, listen, you got to cherish these moments now, because when they're 5 and 6, they're not little babies anymore, so you can't hold them on your shoulder. Or
My favorite time, though, is when they become 5 and 6. I was never a baby person. So says my wife. Or maybe I was a big baby. I don't know how she describes it, but I was like, I just can't wait for them to be, I want to go out and play baseball.
I'm there, too, though.
Bill didn't touch his kids for 7 years.
Yeah, that's right.
Didn't even look at them.
I'm waiting till their 7th birthday, and then we're moving in. Joe Lode. Joe, you were a part of a telephone political poll, right?
Yeah, and I don't mind doing that. I don't mind listening to these people when they call me on the phone. But then it gets to the point where it's just too much.
So explain to and you, instead of you being polled, you kind of told the poller, gave him a little piece of your mind.
Yeah, well, I mean, number one, it sounded like she was a 12-year-old girl I was getting a phone call from Utah, okay?
Yeah.
So it sounded like maybe she was some little Mormon girl that they put on the phone that they were like, you got to call and make this poll. So she's calling from Utah.
Yeah.
And she's asking me questions about Claudia Tenney, and that's how she pronounced it, Claudia Tenney, and asking me questions and saying that, they're not taking care of our area and our Sony Institute of Technology. And I'm like, what?
Oh, my.
After about, 15 minutes of listening to her mispronounce words and cities and people and places, I finally said to her, I said, here's the deal. I said, you're calling to try to get information and poll about an area that you have no idea about this area.
Yeah.
I says, number one, don't call me and insult me by mispronouncing where I live, mispronouncing the people's names. Here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to vote for Trump. I'm a strong supporter of the NRA. I'm a strong supporter of my constitutional rights to bear arms. And no, I'm not voting for Claudia Tenney. Have a great day. When you figure it out, call me back.
So are you voting for, you're not voting for Claudia Tenney, but are you voting for Claudia Tenney?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
All right. Okay. I got to tell you, somebody paid for that poll, and it was out of town, obviously out of town. And how do you conduct a poll and you can't pronounce the candidate's name? I don't understand.
Ridiculous.
That. Yeah. Well, whoever paid for that poll
and
should be asking for their money back, or whichever candidate, or maybe it's the Democratic National Committee or Republicans. I don't know.
Right.
But whoever paid for it should ask for their money back. That's ridiculous.
I have a feeling it was Democratic.
Okay, you based on the questions.
Yeah, because they were asking a lot of questions about was it Kim Myers, mostly pertaining to her.
Okay.
Against Claudia Tenney, because they came out and said, how she was missing votes and how she was this and was that. It seemed against her.
Okay. Well, you never know. You really never know, because sometimes they'll taint the poll to make it seem like it's leaning towards the other one in order to try to get the most honest response. But you can't get an honest response if you can't pronounce the name.
Well, here's the deal. Why are you calling me from Portland?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it was Portland, Oregon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Utah, wherever the hell it was. It was Utah.
It was Utah.
Did you ask? You asked her, and she told you that?
No, it came up on my caller ID.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right. Wow.
I mean, phones are pretty advanced now. Plus, the fact that, again, she sounded like she was like 12.
Yeah. All right. So, and something like that's not going to be. It's not going to help you in terms of who you're going to vote for. Sometimes these polls can actually serve as an advertisement. In this case, you're not a fan of Claudia Tenney. What do you think of Babnick, the guy from Little Falls?
Yeah, I mean, he seems like he's all right. I mean, Bill, to be honest with you, I wish I followed local politics more. I just, I hate to say it, I'm ashamed of myself. I don't have time to listen to it. And to be honest with you, when it comes to a certain point, I'm sick of listening to it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I understand.
It's just the way it is. I get, I got to worry about myself, and my work and my life, and I got to figure out who's telling the truth, who's lying.
And you got to figure out your route to the polling place in November to vote for Trump. I mean, there's a lot to be thinking about here.
I already know the exact route I'm taking.
You know. All right, Joe. I appreciate it. That's interesting, and I appreciate the call, Joe. Thanks.
You got
it. Michael, quickly, in Ilion, has a little bit of advice for Manaski here. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I got a little advice. I don't know how Jeff, being early 30s, I don't know how he was raised, if he was raised like you and I were. Discipline, chores, don't do the homework, get punished, things and that. I got an 18-year-old stepson that I've been with for about 12 years now, and he was raised exactly like I was. If he did something wrong, he was held accountable. He had to do chores in the house, this and that. He's 18-year-old now. He still hugs his mom and says, I love you, things like that. So it won't go away if Jeff raises his little boy like, to be an adult, not as a friend, not as a buddy who, okay, you didn't do your homework today, that's all right. Just don't do it again, and then you keep hearing that.
Right.
I think, listen, the whole friend thing, you still can kind of be you're to be the dad, not the friend. That's the key there.
He raises him like him and his wife raise him like parents. The kid's going to respect them, grow up, love them, and he'll never be too old to hug and say, I love you.
Hey, Mike, doesn't it kill you, though, when you're in the grocery store and you see some kid ripping and yelling at his mother or his father or something? I want to go over there and just
unbelievable.
Give him the beating he should have gotten 10 years before.
Exactly. We can't do that, so you just want the one in your house at least
to
be where you want him to be.
All right, good advice, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Appreciate that. Got a break. Willie Waffle coming up next. Hold tight. The big movie this weekend, by the way. The big movie this weekend involves, and I'd forgotten that this was a female version of Ghostbusters.
Oh, that's right.
I'm not sure. We'll see what Willie says. He saw it last night. We'll talk about it with Willie Waffle next on WIBX.